Alright, I'm Sofiane Sehili. I'm a competitive bikepacker from France. I live in Paris and I've been racing ultra cycling races since 2016. I've won a few of them, most noticeably the Atlas Mountain Race, the French Divide and the Inca Divide in Peru. When you say bikepacking, you have the bikepacking community and the just the conventional bikepacking that everyone can do. You just can go out with any bike and you strap a few bags on the bike and then you go out, and that's bikepacking. When I say competitive bikepacking, it's just that what I do is, obviously I do some conventional bikepacking just for myself and for my pleasure, but when I talk bikepacking, I also do races, and that's why I use the term competitive bikepacking, where there's a challenge, a ranking, and you can actually finish first and win, and that's why I consider myself a competitive bikepacker. I started as a tour, actually, yes, in about 10 years ago. I was in Thailand. I was in Laos, actually, and I bought a secondhand mountain bike in a rental shop, and that's where I discovered bike touring. I had just very little experience with bike touring before that. I had ridden just in a couple days from Lyon to Avignon in France. That was just 300 kilometers. And then yes, in 2010, I started this really long bike touring trip through Southeast Asia, which took me from Laos to Cambodia, Cambodia to Thailand, Thailand to Burma, and then I went to Malaysia and Singapore. So I would say these last 2 or 3 years, I've been racing more than I have been touring. When I started in 2016, I still had this balance where I would race a little bit and then still go on really long tours. But yeah, since 2019, I've been most of my touring has actually been just bikepacking races. It's I keep doing the touring stuff, but the fact that I do so many races is, like, for example, last year I think I raced 5 times. So it's kind of complicated to race so much and then find time to do some more bicycle touring. But I'm hoping that later this year and next year I will be able to get back on long tours because I miss it. First time that I was here was 4 years ago, and it was I was on my way to China. I had started riding my bike in Paris, and I was probably on the road for 2 months already, and I was coming from Tajikistan, and it's funny because uh, uh, so when you're riding the Silk Road, especially as a bike tour, everyone you meet tells you about the Pamir and the Pamir Highway in Tajikistan, and it's really the part of the trip that everyone looks forward to. I went there, and I rode the Pamir, and it was absolutely stunning. And then I crossed into Kyrgyzstan, but it was October at that time. It was fall already, and uh, it was okay. In Isikul it was still warm, but in other parts of the country, like in Kazarman and in Narin, it was starting to get cold, and most of the passes was covered in snow, and so I rode from Osh to Kazarman and then from Kazarman to Narin, and I climbed two passes that were above 3,000 meters, and they were covered in snow, and it was really dangerous because I had actually a road bike with skinny tires. I didn't have a mountain bike, and so when I got to Narin, I decided to just to stay on the main road, on the paved road, and I missed most of the highlights of Kyrgyzstan. I didn't get to see Songkul. I didn't get to see Tashrabat, and I just stayed on the highway. So when I came back from this Silk Road trip that was 16,000 kilometers long through all of Europe, Asia, and China, for me the highlight was the Tajikistan. And not coming back here and having more time to ride, I discovered parts of Kyrgyzstan that I'd never been before, and I was amazed. I thought it was just so beautiful, so stunning, and I kind of felt like, it's funny that I missed all of this when I was here 4 years ago. I mean, it happens because I didn't have much time. It was late. I was supposed to get to China as fast as possible, because then, even being there mid-October, going through the high mountains of the Chanshan, and then the Qinghai province of China, it was getting really cold, so I had just no time to explore all the countries where I was going. So I'm really glad that I came back here, and I'm really glad that ahead of the race I was able to just to visit these places and to see them without the pressure of the race. I wasn't sure if I was gonna come here. When the race first happened in 2018, I followed, and it looked really, really hard. And I was like, I know it's a nice country, but I've been there before. I've been there already. I know it a little bit, and it looks maybe a bit too hard. But it was 3 years ago, and then in the last 3 years, I did a lot of stuff, and I did some really, really hard stuff, and I became stronger and not as afraid of the really, really hard races. I'm now actually looking for them. I'm now trying to do the hardest races, even if you have to push your bike for 2 or 3 hours sometimes, even, because that's I think that's where the sport of bike packing is really special. That's where you show how strong you really are, because it's not only about fitness. If you want to be successful in bike packing, you have to be fit, you have to be fast, you have to be strong, but it's not enough. If you're just some really fast cyclist and then you come to the hardest bikepacking races, it's not going to be enough. You're going to fail. You need to be you need to have a certain set of skills, and you need to have a mental toughness that is very, very hard to actually get. And it takes time, I think, to get mentally tough enough to do these races and to actually be successful and win these races. And I think I needed time to just become mentally strong enough to come here and to do this race. And also I have some priorities in my calendar, and I every year I think about the Tour Divide, and Tour Divide is supposed to be my priority, but last year it was cancelled, and this year it was cancelled again. So since the Tour Divide was cancelled, I decided that I could make the Silk Road Mountain Race my top priority. That it could be my big race of the season, because I need one big objective for my season, you know. And it's a race that has been around for only 3 years now, but it's becoming really popular, and it's really ingrained in the legend of bikepacking, and it has I think a special place. And even though it's one of the new races, I think there's a lot of prestige that is associated to just winning an event like the Silk Road Mountain Race. So this is why I decided to come here. No, it's not the complete setup. This was just the setup for my touring part. For the race, I will have a full frame bag. The frame bag is going to be much bigger than this one, and I will have another foot pouch. So it's going to be I'm going to be also going to have different rotors. I'm going to have 180 millimeters rotors. But yeah, it's going to be a slightly different setup, but yeah, it's just like more or less the same. It came to me, you know, these thoughts, and I was I was finding the writing so beautiful, and I was so happy to be there and to be so far away from home in a place that is completely foreign. And these thoughts came to me where like this is exactly what I'm looking for, you know, when I'm alone on my bike, and it's these really wide, open, majestic landscapes, and you see these huge mountains, and you feel really small, and you see these lakes and these rivers, and this is where I want to be, this is what I want to do, and there's no one around, and this is what I love. And I was feeling so happy to be there. I was like, I've already won, you know. It's no matter what happens, you know, even if and so the race starts in 2 days. Even if in 3 days I crash and I can't keep going, it's already a win for me, because I'm here. And I've rediscovered Kyrgyzstan, which I had no idea was this beautiful. I know it was a beautiful place, but I had no idea that it was, wow, you know. Every ride that I was doing in the last 4 or 5 days, I was like, this is just so amazing. So yeah, these thoughts came to me at that time, where I was like, it's of course racing, being able to perform and winning, these are really important things to me. But the most important thing is just to be able to be on my bike and just love what I'm doing, you know, because racing, this is a part of my life, and it's gonna last. I don't know. It's been lasting for 5 years now. Maybe it's gonna last another 2 years, another 3 years. I don't know. Maybe it's gonna maybe it's gonna be 10 years of my life, but then it's gonna be over at some point. I'm gonna stop racing, because I don't know. I will have raced all the races, or I would just be tired of doing it, or I wouldn't be able to win anymore. And if I don't think that I can win, maybe I'm not gonna be willing to race. So it's I know it's just gonna be one part of my life. But cycling, bike touring, bike packing, being on my bike out there in places like Kyrgyzstan, I'm gonna keep doing it all my life. I'm never gonna stop. So that's the really important thing. That's what it's all about. It's about being out there and seeing these places, and that's when I was there and I was riding, and I'm glad that I came here early and then I did this ride, because I realized and I understood that that's the really important part. That's just being able to ride my bike and to see that. Yeah, it's already a win, especially I think, especially in these races. These, they're very special races.